Hello, everybody. We are going to go live. Y'all ready?
Got dragged all the way over there.
Okay, we are live. Let's go. You can't
live.
yawn on camera.
Why not? I'm tired. There's no time to sleep when there's all these pinball machines to fix.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 65 of PinTech Live. We still have Hotline in front of us, and we are going to be working on the score reels and some more steppers today. Hence the final countdown. It was Kyle's little pun on words.
Yeah, that's about as funny as I can be. Yeah, we've demonstrated every style of stepper, and once we complete here, we're done. We've done every single style of stepper that Williams made, except for the bonus one on Grand Prix, and I was showing that to Emoto the other day. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Where it resets it all the way in one go? Yeah.
That was exciting.
So we've almost demonstrated every kind of stepper, and since EM pinball is the best kind of pinball, I spent my hard-earned money and I bought a crappy game for us to also work on in the future here, but it's a different flavor of crap. It's a Gottlieb game, so we will be able to learn Gottlieb steppers also. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So before we get into the lesson, a few announcements. Of course, our 24-hour free domestic shipping and $10 off international shipping for orders over $99. Use the code PT-countdown, all caps. Again, compliments of Kyle. He's brilliant.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Careful, we're going to get DMCA'd if you whistle that too nicely.
Oh, yeah, Midge back here is trying to get us canceled. But yeah, we just came back from Allentown last weekend. It was a really awesome show. It was just great to see everybody, or a lot of people, in person. Yeah. We hung out a lot with Cliff Albert, who's in the chat, Warlock Pinball 777.
You mean my new best friend, Cliff?
Kyle got to meet his dog, Andy, who's a big fluffy St. Bernard. I missed out, but next time I'll get it. And we also did a bunch of Marco TV interviews at the show. So if you want to watch that and see what some cool pinball people are up to, head over to our YouTube or Facebook channel and you can see the Marco TV live at Allentown. We did we did Saturday, I don't remember.
Yeah,
What's
Friday
the show?
and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday interviews. So
Yeah.
please check that out. We
was cool.
interviewed a lot of really awesome people.
I got to meet Todd Tuckey for the first time, and
Yeah.
he poked my eyes out. He did like
He
some
loves doing that.
straight Three Stooges stuff on me. I got to meet a lot of nice people. It was very rewarding for people to come up and just be like, "Hey, Kyle," and you're just like, "Hey, who are you?" And like, "I've been watching you on, the internet for a long time now." It's like, I never chat, but I've watched every single thing you guys have done. It's just like, oh wow, like thanks. So that was pretty fun. It's the first time we've gone out and done anything since this evil pandemic, which is still in our midst. But
Yep.
yeah, it was pretty cool, man. There's some neat people. The Northeast is full of all sorts of humans, but let's face it, Emoto, the best thing about going to Allentown, Pennsylvania was definitely the farmer's market.
They always say that. It's all about the kiffle.
It was good, man.
All about the kiffle.
I mean, I learned from Mr. Rampomatic's wife, Miss Rampomatic, that it's not about the kiffle, it's about the kolaches. And there's a very specific Ruthenian kolache that I'm about to get on Christmas because her mother is going to send me some.
That's funny. Well, you just put them right on the spot because Jody actually is in the chat now, so I'm sure he's like reminding
Jody.
him.
The best game at PinFest 2021 was definitely Victory, owned by Mr. Rampomatic himself. If I'm going to be like a pinball influencer, here's my thing. I predict the next hot game is Victory. Just buy it. Just buy it. The other next best game is Hotline. So continue buying these too, because I need to see my my portfolio, my assets just shoot through the roof. So.
Yeah.
No,
but,
Victory's cool.
Really, I mean, we got to see Ultraman for the first time. That was
Yeah,
really exciting
that was really
and
fun.
unexpected.
If you have a pre-order on that, you're going to be very happy. Ultraman or Halloween. It's really fun.
Oh no, Grumpy EM Doctor is being extra grumpy right now because he's like, hurry up and start because Kyle better finish this now.
I'll finish the steppers today. I mean, there's
Hello,
only
everyone
really
in the
one
chat. Hey,
stepper
Craig,
to service.
Thanks for joining us. It was great to meet you. And
David,
yeah, Kyle went home with a Jungle Princess,
yep,
which is nice. He's been playing it a lot all week.
Jungle
So-
Princess and a High Hand. High Hand's a pretty cool game too, and that's the piece of crap that we're going to work on the stream one day soon.
Well, let's get on with it. What are we learning today, Kyle?
We're going to do like the same thing we've been doing the last 2 weeks, just a different flavor. Let's go take a look. Hollywood magic. I'm still in the frame though, aren't I?
I'm like,
We
wait,
work in cramped
I'm not ready.
spaces here. This is not big enough for my body. Anywho, actually, I think I might lower this because I do have the ability to work on this kind of on a bench. We're going to work on a step up, step down stepper. So if y'all were here in front of me like this was an actual class, I could quiz you right now and say, what are the 3 different kinds of steppers in an electromechanical game?
What are they?
And the best students would say continuous steppers, step up, full reset, and step up, step down. And this is a step up, step down. So this is a unique one we haven't worked on yet. This is the credit unit. The credit unit is pretty simple. I mean, it just works off of a couple switches. Now, I forgot to get a schematic and bring this over for this game. I don't remember what all the switches are for, but there's one important switch. And that is when this switch is closed, you can start a game. These are not very smart machines, right? We're going to step this thing all the way down.
Thanks for stopping by.
And
Good luck in the tournament.
once this switch opens, and I'm afraid that these may be adjusted quite poorly. Once this switch is open, you cannot start a game. If this thing would continue gaining credits, right, and we win a couple games, the stepper would step up and the switch would end up
closing, which will allow the start button to start another game. That is all this thing does. It really doesn't keep track of anything else. But this thing is performing like really, really poorly. The only reason I'm really working on this, and I'll be 100% honest, this is a game that will live in my house. It will not go on location, but I want to show, just for sake of internet archiving, you know, how to take one of these things apart. Again, it's mostly the same thing, but some people are more comfortable seeing their individual unique piece being disassembled instead of taking principles and moving them otherwise. Anyways, yeah, credit unit. So this thing's been mangled. I might not be able to get it to work 100% because someone has done some nasty stuff. This spring, I think on the hotline unit, the sequence unit under the playfield, someone stretched a spring pretty bad, but this one is really tight. And it looks like someone has also wrapped this torsion spring really, really hard as well, and it's kinked. Most of the time, I will not replace springs unless they're damaged. These things don't really wear out so much, but when they wear out when things like this are done to them, right? When the coils start to get unwound, this is unrepairable. This is bad. I will probably put a new torsion spring on this. So we might get to the point where we disassemble this, but don't fully get it back together and show it working perfectly because there will be more work needed to be done. When working in the head of an electromechanical game, it's a great idea to lay something down to cover the gaping hole of doom, because you will drop things and they will bounce right under a relay or underneath the bottom board, and you'll never find it again, and you will curse a lot if you're me. So I'm going to lay something down. I've learned a lesson. What we'll start with is removing the reel itself. This thing's really screwed up. I'm looking at it now, right? Like, I'm pretty sure in this position, let me see. Who's laughing? Steve's laughing.
Pinball Profile asked if you do house calls. He does, in fact.
I do house calls. I will travel anywhere in the country. You just have to bring me there. Okay, I think this thing might be really loose. What we're getting at, right? So I think what there is on this, if I remember right, I might be wrong. Thankfully, someone smarter than me is here, David. I'm pretty sure one of these switches is the, hey, I have no credits, don't start a game switch. And the other one is, hey, I'm at my maximum, you can't add any more games. If you look at this wheel here, there are a lot of spots where this post can go. This post is user defined. So if an operator doesn't want some super good guy coming in and busting up like 10, 15 credits, he can make the maximum awardable credits like 5. So when this post would roll all the way back around and open this switch, it would no longer be able to add credits, no matter if you've got the special or hit the replay or whatever. So basically you've got your, yeah, I have more than 0, start a game, or I've got too many, don't start a new game. I've got this thing stepped down as far as the thing will actually want to step, but if you look in the credit window itself, we are still showing 11 credits. Someone has struggled with this thing. The reason I say I wouldn't do this if this was in my house, it's mostly because I'm lazy, but also because in my house I'll most likely put the thing on free play, and there are ways, you know, alligator clipping the wires together to make it think that it's always got credits. But like I said, we'll work on it here. So we will have to refigure out how it goes together. And again, since these things are so damaged and I wasn't able to acquire new springs, I don't know how far we'll get back to putting it together, but let's just start working instead of talking. I lost my voice in Pennsylvania. I'm still struggling with that. I feel like I've got raspy voice right now. Let me put this light over here too so I can see better and everyone else can see better.
Ooh, that was cool. When you move the light, it's like the sunset.
A sunset.
Like a time lapse of sun setting in the back of the pinball machine.
If we were going to do a time lapse like we always talk about, it would be kind of fun to like time lapse a stepper or something like that and take every little part off and then like throw it back together.
Right. Isn't that what we're doing now?
Too many frames per second. Okay, we will figure out how this has to go back together eventually. This thing's really dirty too. I'm gonna be very careful, super, super gentle with how you clean these. There are some score reels and some inks that will resist everything. Do not do any of this, but I'm going to talk about something right now that you should not do. But in my experience, sometimes like you can hit these things with Windex and they're fine. Sometimes you can hit these things with a little bit of vinegar and water and sometimes they're fine. Sometimes I can spit on a clean rag and try to rub this dirt off and the ink just comes straight off. Be very, 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 very gentle and be ready to ruin your score reels when you are prepared to clean them. It is scary. I would say do not use anything stronger than water is a starting point because you don't want these things to come apart. You can't get them anymore. Unless you come to PinFest Allentown where there are boxes of them all over the place.
Does anyone make replacements for these old gears?
What, the stepper units?
Yeah.
Or the actual score reels?
The score reels?
No. I would like to. I have 3D printed examples of Bally score reels that look pretty convincing. The gears, no. The gears don't really wear out. And when they do, they're usually, that's pretty scary. That's actually pretty impressive. But that's why we've been putting a little bit of grease on some of these gears to reduce that metal-on-metal friction, which causes wear. So we've got the reel itself off. Let us remove this scary spring here and see if I can get it without damaging it too bad. So see what we end up with here.
Oh no, he's not happy.
This will work, and it will continue working probably for a long time, but we'll see. We'll see how we can put it together. You definitely lose a little bit of something when you got a screwed up coil like that. This thing, I'm curious to see. This thing is definitely borked.
APB in the house. Thank you for the resubscribe. 13 months. Been on for that long?
That thing's really loosey-goosey too. At least I don't have to take a bunch of stuff apart to tighten that stud up again on this one. So what we have here, right, is we have something that gunked up really bad. And someone was trying to figure out how to get it to work again. So our favorite...
Who is Cletus? Is he a fan or a villain? Yeah, definitely a villain. Our metaphysical Cletus came through, and they to get this thing to work, they figured out that if you make it tighter, it'll work. Usually, when you make one of these springs tighter, it might work in one direction, but it will suffer in the other direction. So don't do this. Just fix it right.
Cletus the spider?
You weren't here for that week.
I'm still trying to catch up.
Well, he was the proverbial person. I did see another spider in here, and I was just about to yank him out. Oh, wait, there it is. We blamed it on the spider. Here.
Look, I'm going to focus him. Oh, wait, he's not alive?
No.
Dang.
It's one of Cletus's minions. Oh. Yeah, I won't repeat that, but it was pretty funny. Anyways, we don't want that guy hanging out with us. We'll get him out of here. But don't do that. That's not a real fix. Let's see how many times this thing's wrapped around.
Rest in peace, Cletus and
1, 2, 3. That was 4 rotations around here. That's, I think, too many. So that's not good.
Don't mind me.
Oh. I can't see now.
Can you really not see?
Well, there's too many shadows. I'm really blind, and light is your best tool in your toolbox, so always work in a well-lit environment.
Unless you're recording it, and then you gotta watch for reflections.
Yeah. Unless you're recording when light is something that has to suffer for the end user, but you know.
Pez says, I'm a 3 to a 3.5 times guy.
I think most of them get, at least the Williams one, the consensus,
All of these things have been wrapped around 2 times, and they all work just fine at 2 times. I think there are some other manufacturers that did have those torsion springs wound a little bit tighter. But that being said, You always want to put them back the way you took them apart.
Right, and take pictures.
And that was clearly super, super wrong because someone has put a kink in it. This might be salvageable. We'll see. I'll try to salvage it with what I have before replacing the springs because I don't want to do that if I don't have to. Take this guy off.
Do you clean the springs before you put them back on?
If they're really gross, yeah, but I don't have enough time to do that kind of stuff.
It's a nice shot.
Time is money. You got to get to the next service call.
I see. Grumpy said he's already referred to the PinTech as Cletus on many games in the last few weeks.
Oh,
so
man.
Cletus
I've started
is the
something
incompetent
terrible.
Tech.
I've started something truly awful.
Cletus.
Okay, so this guy, this is like 3 for 3 on this freaking game. This arm here has solidified to its post. So we're going to have to work this one off. These are the reasons you take these things all the way apart and don't do it halfway. You're making things better. I'd rather spend a lot of extra time like making these sorts of things right than like really cleaning the heck out of everything. But I also don't like dirty, nasty, grimy games, so I will wipe up some of the dirt in here.
Obi got auto-modded.
Sucker. I think I needed that 3/8 open.
So that was you just adding some grease to it?
A little bit of oil to try to penetrate the, just to try to get it to loosen up. A little bit of something, a little bit of liquid will go in there and start to break down that grease that exists. That's why stuff like PB Blaster works so good. If anyone here has ever worked on their car and had stuck things, a good penetrating oil is really helpful in this sort of situation.
Oh, nice. That's a good tip from Old School. EM said, some springs are color-coded, so be careful when you do clean them and remember the color.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, like on these score reels. Actually, I do see a score reel here with a really screwed up spring. We're going to want to look at that. But sometimes when they are painted to denote a different tension.
Welcome to the party, CNK. It is
Yo.
always just a few.
Let's see if I could get something in through here. So again, we're trying to get this armature off of this post, and this one really doesn't want to move. I don't want to take the coil off, but I might have to. This is something that would horrify me to leave it in place. This one's really loose too. It's like way looser than the other 3. Actually here, I might be able to, I need a smaller screwdriver. I'm gonna try to use a little bit of leverage. Try and like force this thing up and off using the width of the wrench. But you don't want to bend anything. That's the scariest part of doing something like that. Ah, no, it started to move. Okay, so actually was a good move. And I'm going to use the screwdriver to kind of wedge my way into the wedge that I've made to continue forcing this thing up and off. And not doing it in like a prying sort of way, but using like a twist sort of way. I might pry a little bit. Usually puts a little too much pressure on one side, and that's how you break screwdrivers. Because these aren't pry bars, but you know, if you're ready to sacrifice your screwdriver and use it as a pry bar, more power to you. But let me see if I can get this guy off now. This thing's really on there. This is why I don't understand why people don't like fixing EMs, because I find this like way more enjoyable than like looking at schematics and tracing back transistors to here and there. And
but isn't looking at schematics part of EM?
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, instead of like just doing board work, which is enjoyable and satisfying in its own right. I come from a motorcycle mechanic background, so getting my hands dirty and messing with gears and stuff like that, this is just lots of fun to me. I'm gonna try to work some of that oil in here a little bit.
Wait, why is Midge laughing?
Steve's always laughing.
Oh. That's weird. My chat froze on my...
Your chat froze?
It's just stuck on CNK saying it's just a few. Oh. Colin's full of them.
Well, I don't know what the Step
today.
Up movie is, so that joke is lost on me. I'm sorry. I'm uncultured.
We have a question while you're working on that
Yeah,
from Rebel Dog 67. Said he's restoring a 64 shipmates.
Cool.
Spent 3 days rebuilding all the rat trap score reels. Has everything working when the game starts. All the scores are correct for all reels. However, will not reset to 000 when the game starts. What am I doing wrong?
I'm surprised that the game is even starting when if it's not on 000. 64 shipmates. So I think that's a Gottlieb game, right? Can someone check for me? Yeah. So I think at that time, Gottlieb was using these really weird score reels that were kind of enclosed. And instead of having the switches on the outside for the, and we went over this, these switches up here that tell you when it's like on 0, not at 0, or when it's on 9 so it can roll over. Those are all internal, and they're kind of hard to adjust. You need to go in and make sure that those things are closing and opening when they should be. I think each score reel actually has a handy-dandy diagram that tells you where it is and where it needs to be at when it's in the certain location. So take a look at that. That's what I would start with. You know, maybe the thing is, you know, the game thinks it's on 0 when it's on 2 because someone's messed with those switches or something. I don't know. That's a weird one. Most of the time is my game will never start. And it's like, well, are the score reels at 0? Or are they not resetting? And they're like, oh, those haven't moved. Well, there's your problem. Your problem is different than that. So.
Yeah, and luckily we have the amazing Grumpy EM doctor in here too.
I'm going to keep these things separate and in their position because I don't want to forget how those go. Let's get the clip off of this pawl. I'll use a smaller screwdriver.
This is a great time to say to Rebel Dog 67 that if you don't figure it out, asking Kyle and Grumpy EM Doctor here. I'm going to drop this link in the chat. It's the amazing Fun with Pinball EM Pinball Online Repair Clinic. You can sign up as a game owner with your game and issue. And as long as you have a webcam and decent audio, then you can sign up and the coaches there will look at your problem and try to read schematics with you and help solve your problem. So hopefully you get some help and get that game up and running.
Yeah, those people are way more qualified to tell you how to fix an electromechanical
Grumpy EM
game
Doctor
than I
is
am.
one of the coaches.
Yes.
Too, so. But sometimes it's easier to just see, do a little test. They'll walk you through the process. So it's a really awesome benefit and service that they provide to the community for absolutely free.
Yeah, those guys can read schematics and they can figure out what the game is or isn't doing by whatever state or what is going on currently. So.
I don't know if they can solve your audio problem on Farfalla Fliptronic, but maybe.
Huh.
Ask Grumpy EM Doctor. Ooh.
I told you I'll look at it when I come to Texas. We'll get that sucker working. I had a Devil Riders at a customer's house that had a goofy sound problem. I mean, it just like start with the basics on that game, right? Just put a new capacitor, replace all electrolytic capacitors. Does problem still persist? Okay, well that's where it starts to get complicated.
Well, we'll see it at Expo. Maybe they're gonna sell it at Expo.
No, don't do that. It's Farfalla.
It's Who sells Farfalla?
Who sells pinball machines? You're supposed to hoard them and treasure them. Okay.
Oh yeah, JJ Martin, sign up. Awesome.
So let's do this. I was.
Hot Nudges buying it. Great buyer.
It was brought to my attention that I did know this while I was doing it. I was kind of aware. I didn't lube the last shaft correctly. I didn't put lubricant on the actual contact points. I put most of my lubricant in that center bit where this green nasty crap is. The only bits where this actually makes contact while it's going through this brass bushing is here and here. This is recessed a little bit, so you're actually, you do want to put your teeny bits of grease on this area and not really in the middle. I'm concerned. It's very sticky and it's not, doesn't feel like grease. So I don't know what the heck that is, but it also isn't rubbing off very easy. So I think I might need to go get some nasty chemicals, which are over here.
No. What was your question? I love your questions, Colin. Yeah, good point, Obi. You can always join our Marco Discord group. You know, it's after hours chat. They talk about all sorts of things on there, including pinball repair. So if you ever have a question in the middle of the night, jump on there and someone will be bound to be on there to answer you. I'm going to put in a new invite link.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really like the Discord group. I've been really enjoying.
There's our Discord link right there. That gives you
goofing off. If I can break this down with a little.
Oh, thank you, Jogger. It's amazing. We had a lot of fun in Allentown. All right. Kyle, you got another question.
All right.
Finn Daddy asks, when I bought my 77 Williams Argosy, the coin door was stripped of all parts.
Huh.
I picked up a full coin door from a 76 Williams Space Mission. Could I just swap them, or would the plug pin out be different?
It's probably going to be the same. And I know it's most likely the same, but I'm not going to just straight out say it's the same because I don't want to cause a problem. But I would just double check. Trace your wires. Look at the wire colors. The wire color should also match on the plug side as it does on the receptacle side as it does on the plug. And just double check. I'm pretty sure, I think Williams games in that era did have high voltage on the coin door, so do be careful. But match up wires, you know, yeah, I'm pretty sure it will though. Argosy is a great game. I'm extraordinarily jealous.
Obi wants to know what the green stuff tastes like. Avocado.
Well, it smells like denatured alcohol now. Yeah, someone was just using avocado goop to try to get this thing to go. And more power to them, but it must have been a rich Californian, you know, with their avocado toasts and all that stuff.
All right, for those of you just joining us, we are working on Hotline score reels, cleaning them up, getting them working again.
Yeah, we'll make time to go through one score reel for sure. Okay, I've got these posts tightened back down. We're going to try to go with it with these springs being a little cattywampus, but not super bad. I think I've got this one bent into enough of a position where it'll be okay. And then we have to try to figure out how to get it to go back together the right way, since it was kind of jank. Let me get my grease, because this is the part where just need to make sure we've got it 100% clean. I do want to check one more spot.
Yep, Ian.
I definitely want to run a towel through the center bushing here, just to make sure it's not full of more of that avocado.
You embraced it. Do you ever keep like Q-tips in your kit? Would Q-tips be easy to get?
Not really, because Q-tips tend to like
break apart? Yeah,
they leave too much residue. I like paper towels and then just like piles and piles of dirty rags, you know? I usually have like 3 boxes. I've got my toolbox, I've got my part box, and then I've got the other box. And the other box has like, you know, the cleaning supplies and other sorts of things that don't fit in the other boxes, right?
Nice.
So that's usually where I'll keep my...
Grumpy EM Doctor has Q-tips.
Yes, please give me tips.
No, I mean...
He has what?
He has Q-tips in his toolkit.
Q-tips? I don't know, I've just never found a use for them.
I bet TJ has Q-tips in his pocket.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure he does.
when like being able to clean your ears at any time must be really amazing. Okay, I'm gonna knead up the grease
Thanks
here.
for posting that link, Mitch.
I should have some PBR grease coming in my next order, and I am excited to try, or just see the difference between this and like the the reformulation of old coin machine grease that Steve Young had reformulated. Thankfully, again, like the 2 EMs that I just bought, one of them is bad, the other one is perfect, and I am excited to work on them a little bit here. I bought them mostly with the intention, well, I bought one of them with the intention of doing it on this show, so we could do a little bit of Gottlieb love. Like the one Gottlieb game I have works, but we're going to use it to find a problem. The other game I want to use to be like, let's get this thing working. So. Okay, so I've got the gear back in. It turns nicely. Really work that grease through. Take it out. Make sure it's spread itself around. Looks good. Nice. So a few things about this, right? We're kind of going in blind. But there is one thing on this gear that is that is forever. It's a constant. We can't move it. It's this stopper. This stopper mates with this extrusion here on the plate. That's home. The gear cannot step down any further than this spot because it is going to be held in place by that one, stopping block like that. So we know that when this gear is in this position, the game is homed, right? And we can kind of see, I need to look at these switches. I think they're really out of whack. But it steps this way, right? So I'm pretty sure at this point, this switch should be open. This one here. This should be hitting this. And that should be keeping this open, which will tell the game, I don't have any credits. Once this thing steps up 1 point, or 1 click, this thing will then close, and that will tell the game that it can continue playing, right? Part of the startup sequence, when you hit the start button, is one of the first things it does is decrement this unit. It steps it down. So if we got to that point, you played a game, it decremented down, the switch opened, you couldn't start another game. So I'm pretty sure our friend Cletus, the way he decided to, or he or she, or they, or whatever, decided to make this game free play was just to bend this to a point where it could never change state, right? The easier, the little more elegant way to do that maybe would have been to put an alligator clip between these guys. On the Gottlieb games, these are cloth insulated wires, so you can pull the cloth insulation back and twist them together once or twice, and that'll keep it on free play. But anyways.
Oh, interesting.
That's how I'm starting from 0, and I know that I'm going to be okay. So I'm going to wrap this thing. It's nice and tight now. So 1 rotation, 2 rotations. I'm just going to hold it there for now. I obviously need to take that off once we get the other arm back on.
When you rotate it, do you feel the tension of the reel?
Yes.
So there's 3 different kinds of springs.
Well, I'm not going to say that. There's a billion different kinds of springs. But on pinball, you have 3 kinds of springs. You've got an expansion spring. When it expands, it comes back together. You've got a compression spring. So that's going to be, hold on, I think I see one. You've got a compression spring. When you compress the spring, it comes back out. And then you've got a torsion spring. And that's what this is. This thing is under torsion. So when you wind it one way, it's going to want to unwind back home, right? And that's torsion. I don't know.
Oh, that was great.
There's 3 different kinds of springs. I think that's, I should have just left it at that. Let me clean this up just a teeny bit. I think there probably are more springs used in pinball, but I can't really think of any right now.
Hez says, don't forget to show that the posts are adjustable for max credits.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit before you got into the stream. This post here is the one you can adjust to allow it to only step up so many times. Once this set of contacts opens, it cuts off power to this coil, which will not allow it to step up anymore. Anyone else who may have also been paying attention, you're like, well, what about this switch? this is the cool switch. This one actually runs the knocker. So when this thing steps and this thing moves, slide it on. When this coil pulls in to fire and step up, add a credit, right? It steps in and closes that switch contact, which makes the knocker fire. There's your free game.
Nice.
Pretty simple. On older electromechanical games, before chimes, they had bells. And a lot of the times you'll see on lots of Williams games and Gottlieb games from the 60s that are set up that way, the bell is actually attached to the, the match unit. So every time you get like whatever the lowest denomination point is, right, like 10 points or something, and this thing would fire, to keep stepping that match unit, it would hit a little bell, and you hear ding, ding, ding. So there's a couple different ways they've done sound in pinball also.
Obi asked, have you seen any handiwork in your repair adventures where someone made their own springs?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, all the time.
How
Well,
do you-
usually it's like
That's
sacrificing another spring to create a spring, but
Wow.
yeah. I mean, not like anything done well, right? But if someone really jacked up a spring. This is, okay, here's a Kyle pro tip. If you're taking your springs off of your flippers or something, especially on Stern or Williams games, don't be a monster. Pay attention to how this needs to go instead of just pulling on it and letting it unravel. Because what you'll see a lot of the times is people will just pull on this link and it'll start, pulling the coils out, and they start getting all cattywampus and weird. If you pay attention to where you might be able to slip things through or pull it around the nice way, don't mutilate your springs is what I'm saying. Spend a little bit of time, get that spring out nice and easy.
That should be for everything pinball repair, right? Don't be a monster.
Yes. I mean, that's kind of what everyone should do in every bit of their life, but
Oh yeah, that's
who
true.
am I to dictate?
Good pro-life tip.
Okay, I think I lost the nut plate on the other side of this, but it's okay. We'll deal with that later. Let me get the other all here. Now this is kind of gross. Let me spend a little bit of time cleaning this up. This has a lot of dried grease in here. And I don't want to add just a bunch more grease to the already gross amount of old grease that's in there, because that's just bad form.
I like how you're keeping all of your tools and stuff on top of the head because you're tall enough. It's like a perfect shelf for you.
Well, if we were working together, if we were in a shop together working on pinball games, you'd hear me all the time, "Where the heck's my screwdriver?" It's always above my head. It's annoying. I think I take that from my auto shop teacher, who was always looking for his glasses, but they were always propped up on his forehead. Where the hell are my glasses? D, they're on your forehead. Oh, yeah, that's where I left them.
Have you ever seen anyone use a slinky as a spring?
Wow, no, but that would be a great repurposement of a slinky. I mean, actually, it's kind of a criminal act, really. Slinkies don't deserve that kind of fate. Okay, we'll add a little bit of grease to these suckers. So, friend of the show, Colin Baxter, he has just purchased the best pinball machine of all time. Everyone else needs to get one as well. No, that's the other best pinball machine.
You got
of
a
all
hard
time.
body?
No, that's somewhere on that list. He got Jungle Lord.
Jungle Lord. Oh, okay.
Everyone loves Jungle Lord.
Yeah,
Everyone
he
should
mentioned Jungle Lord, and then you got Jungle Princess, so now we just need a queen.
love. Yeah, we're just buying up all the jungle-related games, I suppose.
Vacation America in all caps. Wait.
Oh boy. Yeah, let's not talk about that one. I was kidding. All pinball's good pinball, let's be honest.
Yep, Kyle's lubing up his posts, getting them clean and lubey.
One thing I'm qualified to do.
Unfortunately, this angle right here, it's hard to see how you're putting that back together.
They just slide back on. I don't remember exactly the orientation of these guys. I'm pretty sure I have it right, but we will find out shortly. No, it goes like this, because when this thing turns, the spring holds it and it depresses this while this steps. Okay, This is where we can put this spring back on.
No, this spring attaches at the top. So let's see. This is where I have to use my brain, and I'm pretty sure it still works. I'll put that guy there. And then it was this spring that slid around the bottom.
Manu asked, how does someone attain the friend of the show moniker on this channel? Well, you first have to join our Discord channel and talk to Kyle nightly about beers.
I mean, that's one way to do it, but I mean...
You were definitely a friend of the show as well.
Yeah,
all
Manu's
of y'all are
totally
friends of the show.
But Colin Baxter, that's a name that I recognized from like the first time we ever streamed all the way until now. So we are very lucky to have this friend of the show, Colin. Much like the entire pinball community is extraordinarily lucky to have a Manu.
All right, from Grumpy EM Doctor. When I work on this stepper, I only remove one of the switch stack screws and loosen the other. That way, I don't face the question later about which side of the bracket it went on.
Yeah, that's what I did too, but then the nut plate fell out, and now both of them are not attached anymore. So what David was talking about is you take one out, you loosen the other and rotate it, and then in me picking this thing up and setting it down a billion times, the thing that holds the end of the screw out fell out. So now it's just floating. So
destroyed. Should I stop the stream right now?
Yeah, we just gotta quit, man. This is done. It's over. No, because now actually I'm thinking I don't remember the exact orientation of this pawl right here. I'm pretty sure it goes like this. Hey, someone go clip the show.
Again, a reminder of why you should take photos before you disassemble anything on your pinball machine.
Yeah, you totally should. And the other problem is that, actually, wait, hold on. I'm lucky because there's another Williams game in here. I could look at it right now.
Oh, the Digital Rhino says, I play a lot of Card Whiz at my local craft beer store, trying to learn more about pinball repair. Thanks for joining us.
Card Whiz is a great game. You've chosen a wonderful pinball machine to play.
Grumpy says it's upside down.
Yeah, okay.
He said, yeah, okay.
Shucks, I knew it. Actually, you know what's funny too, because the only other Williams game I have, oh wait, no, it does have a credit unit. It's just in a weird spot.
Dalton, if you're still here, I hope to see you in a few weekends at Southern Fried Gaming Expo.
David will find it comical that I am looking at for the replay unit on Williams Planets, which is a game that does not award replays. Oh, this one's equally as mangled. That makes me happy that my game wasn't the only one worked on by Cletus. Okay, I see what's going on now. And now we will have to watch it in action as we put it back together. I have it flipped the wrong way. These arms go this way. I had good intentions of...
I wonder if I can get more of like a top down. Cletus, how southern? I'm on New Orleans.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, Southern Fried Gaming Expo is in Atlanta, Georgia on August 20th through the 22nd. Please come. It's a great show. It's my hometown show. I love it. And we will be there. We are partnered with Classic Game Rooms to bring several new Stern games.
Yay. We'll have all sorts of fun stuff to play.
I'm going to do like a super overhead maybe. All right. What's that look like? Looks like the top of Kyle's hand.
Now I'm going crazy because I'm looking at it in the other game, and I swear I had it the right way the first time, but now it's not. So now I'm...
Now it's snot?
Now it's snot. I don't understand the point of this in this position.
Like in your...
I think I need to look at the picture. I should have taken a picture. If I didn't have to tighten those other two things, I would have remembered how it went 100%. But now my brain is... I'm trying to make excuses for myself, failing. Failing on camera, Kyle's favorite thing to do. It takes away just a little bit of my legitimacy.
No, this is all part of pinball repairing the experience.
Yeah, experience. It doesn't go that way, does it?
Oh, wait, let's see what Mr. Grumpy, Dr. Grumpy, sorry.
Dr. Grumpy.
He worked hard for his PhD.
I'm looking, hold on. I gotta pull this thing out a little.
Rotate 180 degrees. See, I knew you would know.
Just rotate?
Give me orientation, please.
I'm looking at this one here.
Yeah, bring out the Mystic Crew of the Silver Ball. That would be awesome.
Oh. Okay, yeah, so the flange goes outward. The nub for the spring is right next to the coil.
Yeah, he's actually looking at planets right now.
Yeah.
That's funny.
The nub goes next to the coil, so I had it. It goes like this. Dun, 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 dun. Well, there we go.
Is that right? That doesn't look right.
It doesn't look right, but that's how it's set up. That's one thing I learned is it doesn't have to look right. It's just how it is.
Digital Rhino, I've always wanted to visit the Mystic Crew of the Silver Ball and the Pinball Church there in New Orleans.
The Pinball Church?
Trying is the first step towards failing. Nothing wrong with that.
That's right. I'm not scared.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you you want to call Dr. Grumpy? Get him on speakerphone?
I've got it now. But
Oh.
yet, do I want you to come on? Actually, here's the real question. We actually do need to speak with you because I'm pretty sure in just a couple weeks we need you to come on to do what we've been talking about, EM schematic reading. So if
That
you
would
are
be a
prepared to
very
do
important
so, that would be a fun thing to talk about this weekend.
Yeah, name a Thursday that you can come on. You just jump on Zoom, sit right next to me, and fool us all. Would be
You'd actually be quite proud of me, Mr. EM Doctor, as I was
Dr.
fighting with my
Dr.
Grand Prix. Dr. EM Doctor, double doctorate. I actually was able to fix my problem with my Grand Prix without calling you this weekend. It would never stop scoring 500 points. The 500-point relay was latched, and there was just one switch on the score motor that would kill it. And it was just adjusted way too close. But once I had it adjusted to a point that made sense, it would still continue scoring 500 points. I found that the Bendix for the motor needed to be oiled because the motor was having, it was staying latched too long. Once I was able to clean that up a little bit, it stopped. And the motor, like when the switch would open, it would just stop right in point, and it wouldn't allow that relay to stay latched on, which activated the motor. Anyways, I'll show you on the schematic, and you'll be like, wow, Kyle, good job for finishing EM 101. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it steps nicely up, and now let's see if it steps nicely down.
Uh-oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Here we go. So the arm that I was struggling with for a second, right, it's under spring tension to follow this this arm here. And what this arm does is this arm, which steps up, can we catch this on video?
Yes.
Like, can you see what this arm is doing in correlation to the gear?
Come down a little bit.
With the camera?
No, tilt up the camera slightly.
Oh, tilt up like this?
Yes. Yeah, that's great.
So on step up, this pawl steps away, right? And this arm here is under tension, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when this steps away, and this section is moving away from the gear, since it's under tension, the spring is pulling it, which forces it down onto that, the tooth of the gear. Once this coil releases, this now pushes, and it steps the gear up one time. So this spring here is responsible for keeping this thing pushed up against the gear at all times. And that's what helps us step up. This arm that I was struggling with a little bit, what that does is when this guy comes in, this arm is under tension to follow this arm as well. But what happens is when we pull up, this section of the arm that's actually in the plunger, it's forcing the arm that we were previously talking about up, right? It's pulling it up and away from the tooth. But this arm here, the one I was struggling with, catches the tooth here.
And that's what it makes it a step up, step down. Because when this coil activates, it lets loose of what is holding it in place, grabs it, and then gently pulls it down 1. So we can count with this unit, right? On the other units, we could count up to, until 10 or whatever, and then we'd let go, and it would reset back to 0. With this one, we can count up and down 1 at a time. And that's what makes this a step up, step down. Anyways, now I'm going to try to find that nut plate. And hopefully, it didn't fall into the game. Because it looks like we definitely have to do some switch adjustments here. I guess the funny thing is it may have never actually had a nut plate, which would be really frustrating. I think I have one in my parts box, and I might look. Maybe someone can ask me a question to make me laugh while I find these things. But what is step up?
Oh yeah, where they're all like.
Are those people like that dance or something? Yeah. Okay. Well, why is that
I
funny?
thought that was Bring It On. Oh, wait. M. Kunzelman says, look by the drill bit for that.
Oh,
piece.
okay. Ban that guy. That joke's been going on too long. Ban that guy.
I refuse. It was a good joke.
No, I lose everything, man. It's it's annoying because the guy who used to work for, I can just hear it right now. Whenever you drop a screw, you're halfway across the shop, and Chris is in the other side of the shop, and you drop something. He hears it fall into the game. He's like, hey, don't do that. It's like, yeah, I know. I know not to do that. Go away.
Oh, dear.
Okay, really quick, I'm going to see if I can find a nut plate. And if not, we'll just fake it until I add that to my list of parts I need to bring home from the store.
What is this, Hollywood? We can't fake it?
Are we still making dancing jokes?
He's digging. No, we're all just waiting silently. Oh, sorry.
What's the difference?
Step. Yeah, you gotta stomp.
I'm not cool enough to know the difference, man. Okay, my parts box.
We should all learn a step
where else would it be if it wasn't there? It's not going to be in the flipper drawer.
Pin step. Yes.
You
Does
guys
anyone want to make
guys
the
are
choreography
goofy.
for the pin
Okay,
step?
we're not going to mess with it right now because I can fix that easy.
Oh, Kyle. Nice. Emperor Fun is on it.
Well, what we're running into.
Oh, it's right there. Just kidding.
Get out of here. Ban that guy. To ensure proper operation, but I'm probably not going to do, I'll probably leave it this way just because I do want it to be on free play. But we can bend these switches up, put them back in their spot. They still need well, I mean, technically they don't need adjustment at this point, but that's not far enough away to ensure.
Yeah.
Right, so what view do we have? Now when this thing is in place, right, nice and tight, the switch is open. This thing can step up. And again, like on this game too, on most electromechanical games, what happens is you'll put I think this is a dime game, you put a dime in it and it would just start a game. If you were to win a replay, it would then award a credit. It doesn't, you don't put a dime in and it adds a credit, it just starts the game. At this point, I've got it adjusted a little bit too far because the switch isn't touching 100%. So I'm going to want to naggle it a teeny bit. Now it is. So now we've got one credit, the game will start. And that switch stays closed. What we also have to do is I have to adjust this for proper function too, but it's been mangled, and I'm going to keep mangling it with my fingers instead of using a proper tool. Step up, and there we've got like an open there, right? At this point, it wouldn't add any more credits, so we've reached the maximum amount of credits. Anyways, I'll fix that once I can find the nut plate. It might be underneath this blanket. But we do know now at this point where to put this back together. So I need to clean this still. I'm probably going to go get a rag and a little bit of water. So we can wind this sucker back to Nada. We have 0 credits, exactly as we should. We can step it up.
Right, so when
One,
you put that
two,
score wheel
three.
on, it needs to be at exactly 0.
It needs to be exactly
So it
where you have
matches.
it set to, and the best place to start is going to be 0, because we know where 0 is due to this guy. Remember that post that goes into this extrusion here? That's how we know where home base is. Oh, I'm sure it is, but I'm not going to adjust it at all until I get that the nut plate that'll allow me to thread the screws through it and hold it together. So I'll probably just leave this like this for now until we can find all that stuff. This still needs to be cleaned. While we have time, what time is it? How did I do? I didn't talk too much.
That was an
did I?
hour.
Dang.
You
I want to do PinTech for like 3 hours.
4 more, okay.
And that means like we'd only have an audience of like 1 person at hour 3.
It'll be Mr. Baxter.
Yeah, it would, because he's the true.
CNK asked, what do you do to clean the white wheel again?
We'll mess with that at the end. I'm probably just going to get a teeny bit of water and put it on a soft cloth, and we will try to wipe the gunk off. Williams score reels. Most of the time I don't touch these because they don't require work like Gottlieb games do. They just step and they work fine. This one though, we could see a little bit of we've got a little bit of nasty spring action here. This is going to necessitate a new spring, 1000%. So let's get this thing apart and I can show you how to disassemble a Williams score reel. They're pretty easy. I have not done this in a really long time. The only one I can really remember is a Gottlieb score reel because I've had to do more of those than I care to remember. But I guess I made a lot of money doing it, so I should remember. It's crazy how many people will lubricate their score reels with like grease or like white lithium grease. And to disassemble a 16 in a 4-player game, 16 score reels to get all that grease out can take 6 hours. At $100 an hour, it gets expensive. For this score reel, we're going to remove the E-clip, put that aside. We have a washer. We gently remove that. And now we can remove the actual reel. Is going to fight with me. Oh wait, sorry, this is a Williams, so we have to make room for it. We have to pull these pawls back. We're learning at the same time as we're doing here. This is like a stopper arm that keeps it from back rolling. So what we need to do is we need to pull this back away from the hub, and we can gently start to pry this guy up and out. I think. Let's double check.
The trash.
Don't throw that camera in the trash. We need it. Oh, we have to pull the pawl all the way back too. The actual stepper pawl, I think. It's been so long since I've done this. This one's particularly bad. Okay, before I start forcing, I'm gonna look. I think it's just got a bunch of dried grease. I'm gonna keep going. There it goes. So what we were fighting with some of these arms,
Which would surround the bottom of the reel, right? This guy here, this is the one that steps. This one grabs the gear, which I'll show you in a minute, and pushes. This thing holds the score reel in place and doesn't allow it to backdrift. And this thing rides a cam on the score reel, which then adjusts the switches that tell the game whether it's I'm not on 0, I am on 0, or I'm at 9. So really quick, let's grab the reel, and I can kind of show you what we're dealing with here.
Oh yeah, Dr. Grumpy said you need to pull in the coil plunger too and find one good spot.
Yep.
Did we pass that part?
We got that part. So here's let's start with the cam, because that's the easiest thing to see. This is the cam here that this arm rides, which adjusts the switches, right? We can see the highest point in this arm correlates with 9. So this thing will ride up, and it will make sure the 9 switch is closed or open. I don't remember what it was on a Williams game. And that will step the score over to the next unit. And then we've got these teeth on the inside of the score reel. I hope that's visible.
Yep.
See these guys here. So this guy, the actual pawl and arm, this steps back and pushes it forward. This thing steps up over the gear and holds on to it so it doesn't backstep. This system is, this is probably the best score reel, but it's also the worst score reel. There is a very, very, there's a very, very weak part on these Williams score reels, and it is this pawl itself. These two 90-degree bends make this very vulnerable to cracking, especially, this game is old as heck. You know, plastic, old plastic gets brittle. These things get brittle, they snap. We are kind of working on trying to find a replacement or something for these things, so maybe one day, hopefully soon. But what we've got here is we've just got a really gross score reel. This spring, this is going to be okay. We can rescue this one. This one's shot. This is bad. You can't you can't come back from this. This it's way too worn out. You might be able to try and recoil it. I mean, if I was at a customer's house and I didn't have this spring or anything close enough, I would try my damnedest to get it back into shape and into position, but we have the luxury of not being, you know, on location. We can try to replace this. This guy's a little goofy, but we will be able to rescue it, so I'm not going to worry about this one. But gosh, people are animals, monsters. Well, we're going to want to do kind of similar things and make sure that these can rotate freely. They can. I'm thinking that maybe this, whoever was messing with the springs may have seen and thought, maybe the circuit board needs to be cleaned. I don't know. But we'll take it apart and clean it. It looks otherwise okay. These rotate fine. It's greasy. It's gross. I do kind of want to remove the plunger and pawl to clean them up. These are nice and easy to service. You just have to unscrew these screws. This entire backside comes off along with the coil, and then you can remove the plunger itself. Let's do that, I guess, since this is on camera. It's very simple. Unscrew. Unscrew.
Oh yeah, M. Kuzelman said that spring looked red. Was that one of the color-coded ones we mentioned earlier?
Yeah, most likely. It might be, you know, very similar in length to a lower tension spring, so they color them to denote the difference on the assembly line or in parts bins or something like that because they look so similar. You've got the same thing with like shooter springs in pinball where they're all the same lengths, but the only way to, you know, unless you're a spring master, is to just look at the color and say, oh, that one's weak. It's a green one. We're going to... Anyways. This all slides out. We can slide this pawl out the front.
Dirty.
Really gross. Get a clean towel and start wiping it up. I think I'll have to look at the other ones and see how gross they are. There's only 4 of them in this game, so maybe it is worth the time spent to just at least inspect them. This one really screamed out to me because I noticed that these springs were really, really bad. So I definitely want to replace that. Now I'm just going to have only EM pinball in my house, it seems like. Oops. This thing's done. I like how cute these plungers are. Look how short they are.
Cute. That one's supposed to be black?
Yep.
Okay, so it's not just like black from a bunch of grease.
It's a black oxide coating. A lot of...
Yeah.
What? Yeah, it's really got a lot of caked on dirt and grease, you know. You do see that often. Again, people think that adding grease is what you need to do to fix these things. And it is, but not in this sort of fashion. Very tactical applications of grease is what we're looking for. Wow, my voice is gone again.
Wicked Pizza Pinball Pit. Welcome to our show.
It's an honor
Chuck
to have
wants
you.
to know what kind of soap you use to keep your hands so clean after working on EM.
Man, the Gojo really works wonders with the, the orange stuff with all of the gritty scrubbies in it.
Mr. Baxter says lava soap.
Lava soap is good. Friend of the show, Steve,
Dove,
gave us some really gnarly like mechanics soap. Like you seriously like wipe that, you get your hands wet, you wipe it on your hands like one time and it suds up super hard. That stuff's great. But I like the Gojo. The only problem is it does dry your hands out really, really hard. So we live in the northwest, east.
Kyle puts lotion on his hands and wears gloves to sleep.
No, not anymore.
I used to have to do that actually.
You know?
Not to sleep, but I needed to moisturize my hands pretty dang good. When you don't care about your hands for a long time and they're always soaked in gasoline and oil, it does some pretty gnarly stuff to your skin. And clean this thing up with the patented, really worn out purple scrubby pad, the best tool you could own.
CNK, you probably got a lot of soap in your mouth.
Kind of scrub this up.
Oh, Brian O'Neill stopped by. Said
Hey.
he's currently at his friend's garage working on his whitewater.
Hey,
That's
nice.
awesome. Are you back at the West Coast? We got to see and hang out with Brian at PinFest Allentown this weekend.
Yeah,
awesome.
well, I think he's in, I think he might be in Virginia still. I know that was on their plans. The O'Neills were driving down. The O'Neills brought me a very wonderful selection of beer, which I enjoyed in the parking lot of PinFest. All sorts of delicious stuff.
Oh, that's where you were.
Sometimes, yes.
Figures.
We've got a very similar to our drop
Oh, you're
target
getting closer.
horseshoe connector that works the circuit board. We'll clean that up.
Nice.
I'm going to get another paper towel. I'm glad I actually brought I have a detached score reel that we were going to just work on the bench with. And then when I noticed that this thing was like really grody on the inside, don't do that.
Oh, no.
I'm going to have to look at that, make sure I
Gentle.
didn't bend it too much. Trying to get some of the nasty grease off because these things are just way too dirty. Oh, hey, look. Actually, here's another good thing. It's broken.
Oh, no. What do you do now? Plastic weld?
Find another one. I know I have more, and that's not just because there's actually a box of them in the other room over here, but this is actually fine. You've got 2 connecting points. You're okay. But if you really wanted to fix it, just dab some epoxy on both sides, get it really clean, and it would be okay. But these are the things you need to worry about when working on these old plastic things. I didn't do that, but it's also probably been that way for a long time, so I'm just going to be really gentle, and we'll just run it like this for a while. But that's why I really need to find the time to finish these projects to get these things done.
Oh, you should take the reel apart. Dr. Grumpy says it's a filthy enough that it might be worth removing the 3 screws and taking the reel apart.
Yeah, I could.
Do it, do it, do
I kind of don't want to take it apart anymore because it's going to break. I don't want to break it anymore. What he's talking about, though, is you do have these 3 screws, and this nylon piece here is the same bit as this, right? That's where you've got your ratchet and your cam. So when you would unscrew this, you could remove this hub from the reel. I'm not worried about, I don't want to take it apart anymore, just because it's already busted. The other thing, too, the thing that is kind of drives me nuts about this, too, everything drives me nuts, is like keeping everything looking uniform. If I was to like put like a different score reel in here, it would have a total different patina than all of these would. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, is there a fish back there? Is that Magikarp?
Yes.
Is that like an Easter egg, or do they all have that?
No, that's the art.
Oh, really?
You have a hot line.
Oh, like the Marlin. That's not the Marlin, obviously. Magikarp, but.
Yeah, that's the Magikarp.
Pez Johnson, you're so right.
Williams Pinball invented Pokemon before Pokemon invented
That's
Pokemon.
his campaign. Cletus strikes again. Yeah, catch it. Catch that Pokemon. Where are your Pokeballs, Kyle? You need an Ultra. You think so?
Standard Pokeball. You don't need to use the Great Ball.
I have the worst luck trying to capture Pokemon
Ultra
with basic
Ball.
balls. Gotta give them some raspberries and pine.
You might be able to novice some of this stuff out, but you just have to be careful, especially with novice being a abrasive, right? It's slightly abrasive, and this ink isn't very thick, so it will take the ink off.
Can you tilt down a little? Jinx.
So I mean, I literally have a paper towel with some water on it right now, and that is what we are going to clean this with. And anything past this, I'm just going to deal with and live with, because
you're trying to not even touch the numbers.
With water, I can touch the numbers. That's okay, but I'm not going to try to touch it with, you know, we're not going to go any further than just water, honestly.
I can hear the song in my head.
The Pokemon song? Yeah. I want to be the very best that no one ever was. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I do remember. I've also done some pretty dumb, like, hardcore covers of that song, too, with friends when I was a teenager, so it's a pretty good one. There's enough dirt that's separating itself from the score reel. I think I just have, like, PTSD about, like, wiping a score reel and having it be numbers here and then blank once my hand got to here. So that is why I am super...
Yeah, that sounds horrifying.
Scared and anal about doing this, so. Anyways, good enough. Good enough for government work. Put this sucker back together. But I can't get it all the way back together because we do need to put a new spring in it.
Ah.
I can get it most of the way there. These things are great. I can't believe Gottlieb made their score reels the way they did for so long, knowing that this existed.
Colin asked if you could use Dawn dish soap.
You can use whatever you want, but you have to be ready to accept the results of what happens after. And Dawn is probably pretty dang gentle, but again, I err on the side of a bazillion% caution. Because I don't mind them being dirty. What I do mind is not being able to read the numbers that used to be there.
What would you pay for a home use only Indiana Jones?
Stern Indiana Jones? I don't know, man. The home use only thing really doesn't do anything for me.
What would you pay for a Stern Indiana Jones?
I don't know, $1,500 bucks.
$1,500. What would you?
Pirates, I'd pay a little bit more for.
Stern Pirates.
The thing okay. Do you want to hear my home use only rant?
No, not really. Yeah.
Home use only means nothing. You know what? To me, home use only means never maintained. So a home use only game is.
No, it means less play, less wear and tear.
But it also means it's never been worked on, so everything's going to break. Wear and tear doesn't mean much as long as the game's been taken care of. I mean, you see all these games. I mean, I'm trying to think of the example, but there are plenty of games that I've seen that are home use only, right? You take the balls out and they're rusted, you know, and that's why there's no artwork on the play field anymore, because people have been playing, right? Look at my Strikes and Spares, right? That game's been home use only since like 1980, and it looks like crap. Home use only doesn't mean that it's going to be a perfect game. I'd much rather have a game that's lived in an arcade and has been maintained well than a game that has not been maintained.
But also, it goes the same way, because a game living in an arcade doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be taken care of.
No, definitely. But 99% of the time, a game in a house is never taken care of, because most people that I buy games from didn't even know that you could turn the volume down on the dang thing, right? Let alone take the glass out and replace broken rubber bands. It's very conditional. So I don't buy the hype for just oh, home use only, like that means that makes it automatically worth more. If it's in better condition, yeah.
Yeah, we want to see pictures of the shooter lane.
No. Oh my God. What does that matter? Why does that make a difference? I don't know why people care about that so much. I want to own the pinball machine that least people have had any fun playing. But that's why there's different pinball machines for everybody.
Yeah, how about a very well maintained?
Oh crap.
Oh my gosh, that swordsman game. What?
I mean, no, for sure, for like a really well-maintained game that's a home use only game that I really wanted, oh man, that would absolutely make me want to pay more money for something, definitely. But, there is like, I remember 5, 6, 7 years ago, you go buy pinball machines and it's just like, hi, I have an Indiana Jones, I have a Fishtails for sale, come get it. Okay, cool. And now it's like, oh, I have a home use only this, and here, look at my shooter lane, and it's like, no, it's not. Everything's home use only now.
So that's the message here is make sure you add well maintained to your ad.
Well, if you know what you're looking for.
Dr. Grumpy agrees with you.
If you know what you're looking for, you don't need to prove to someone it's well maintained, because you can tell, right? When something has not been abused and let rot. But I also don't like pinball for that reason, right? There's so many different reasons you can like pinball for. And I like a nice game that plays really good. And some people want to have the shiniest version, shiniest example they could ever find, and that's cool.
How can Colin say that and not get auto-modded, but Obi can't say dirty or what did he say earlier? Yeah, everyone on the Discord, send your shooter lane pics to Kyle tonight.
Oh my God. Hey, I've got banning abilities.
Brian O'Neill grabbed a centaur in Richmond.
Oh, I hate you now.
He doesn't mean it.
No, I don't mean it. I love you. I'm even more excited to come to New Hampshire and help you fix games. I love me some centaur. Okay, well, now that I have that put back together right, we're probably going to leave this. Actually, you know what? Nah.
Bite. Oh, yeah, you said bite.
I'm just going to steal a spring from this shooter.
I don't even get it.
From this guy right here.
How do you get
Oh, these are rusty. Let me go find a less rusty one. We'll put it back together. So then I can show putting it back together. And then we can be done with the steppers on Hotline.
Remember when Kyle left to walk over there and then started going to the bathroom with his mic still on?
I was washing my hands.
Oh, well.
I have almost gone to the bathroom with my mic still on.
Kyle is AFK, that please take advantage of our 24-hour free domestic shipping and $10 off international shipping for orders over $99 code, which is all caps PT-countdown. It'll be available until Friday afternoon. Your pots.
Friday
work
afternoon.
on your game.
Oh yeah, it's Thursday.
And keep them well maintained. Home use only game.
Home use only means nothing.
We lost track of what Kyle is working on with the distracting dialogue. No, he's working on score reels, right? He's cleaning.
Yeah, I'm just poaching a spring so I can finish putting it back together.
He's poaching.
Okay.
Score reels.
Spring has been poached. I guess I could sum this up in a different way.
I didn't realize the home use only thing was such a heated phrase.
It's just weird, man. I don't understand why that matters to people, Is this pinball machine nice? Yes or no? Yes, I want it. Okay, good. Like, does it matter that it was in someone's basement forever? Like, a game that's been in an arcade and it looks good as new has just as much value as a game that's lived in someone's basement for 30 years. To me, I don't get the hype to it. It's like in the motorcycle world, right? I'd have all sorts of old dudes that would have bought a motorcycle or something, and they just, it just, hey, we never, we didn't ride it. It's just like, I didn't ride it much, and now I'm going to sell it. We've owned it for 30 years. Well, for 30 years, that motorcycle's been sitting, doing absolutely nothing, right? And that just makes things dry out, and moisture builds up inside the engine, and you can start getting some toasted bearings and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. Whatever. I'm just an old man. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, so you could use terms like pet-free, smoke-free home.
Smoke-free home. Well, that makes a difference.
Ziltoid says it's a way to add 1K to the price with one sentence.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's the thing. I think that's the thing that I get grumpy about it for, though.
Home use only motorcycle.
Is like people do that kind of stuff just because they know that people who don't know what they're talking about will pay more for it because it sounds better, And that's the stuff that just bothers me. The
non-flooded,
teeny bit of dishonesty
mold-free home
that might exist.
All right, how's it going over there, Kyle?
So this is the hard part, is actually reassembling it. So getting the pawl all the way back, making sure it's not on the 9, rotating it around, pulling back this cam and trying to get it in the right spot, and then it just goes into place.
Wait, so how do you know which direction to put it on?
It doesn't matter. It just goes one way.
Like you don't have to start it at 0 like the credit counter?
No, because remember, all of the points you get in EM Pinball are fake and they mean nothing. The game only knows when you're on 0, when it's not on 0, or when it's on 9. And that's all from that cam right here. And the switches are what dictate that. I have been mangling those switches a little bit. So I need to make sure that they're in adjustment. I also forgot to put this teeny E-clip on, but I can do that with the score reel where it is. Make sure nothing slipped up. Those are also making fine connection. Generally, I would have put like a teeny bit of grease onto the circuit board, but it's really not necessary on these things. There's so little friction on one of these compared to a Gottlieb score reel. Okay, so we're on 0. We're displaying 0. And thankfully, we have 3 other score reels to demonstrate where these switches need to go.
Yay.
I'm pretty sure on a Williams game, on 0, all of the switches are supposed to be shut. So let's pull one out and double check. Okay, this guy is on 5. Let's change that. Ooh, that one's sluggish. All right.
What do you feel when you did that made you go, ooh?
You see how it's just it's not super snappy? We might need to take all of these apart. Most of the time you don't have to, but it is case-by-case basis.
Just to clean them?
With a Gottlieb game, you always need to take them apart. With a Williams game, it's usually you don't have to. Okay, so
that Discord link for you.
On 0, the top switch is open and the bottom 2 switches are closed. This guy is on 0, and the top switch is closed, the middle switch is closed, and the bottom switch is open. So that ain't right. David, do you know this one by heart? I want to double check before I start going and making adjustments. I haven't turned this game on. The guy I bought it from said it did work, but work is always a thing to be said in air quotes. Oh, you know what? Actually, hold on. I forgot to put one spring back on. I think I can bring it through this way too. The thing that rides the cam has a spring as well. This is where you learn how to do things.
Thanks for hanging out, Pin Daddy. We will see you at the next one.
Thanks for joining us as we rant and rave. And
Digital Rhino asked, what would switching to super bands do to the play of an old EM game?
I've only played 1 or 2 EMs with super bands, but the nice thing about super bands is it really does not change the way the game plays that much. The biggest change you're going to notice is you'll never ever have broken or worn out rubbers ever again.
Yeah, they last so long.
But
Easy to
try it out. Maybe I'll try it out. Maybe I'll do it on my Grand Prix or something. Super bands tend to be maybe a little bit bouncier than standard white rubbers or something like that. And the flipper rubbers, like the biggest complaint I hear from like, you know, tournament kind of pinball people is that they don't grab. They don't have the same kind of like instant friction like red rubber does. But that being said, I really like super bands. I have super bands on my TNA, and I really like the way that thing plays. But if you couldn't guess, I'm a traditionalist, and I like white rubber on all of my old pinball machines. So, you know.
And Dr. Grumpy David answered your question by saying, "I do it by look."
Yeah, I'm gonna just trust the other ones, and since the thing didn't have 100% spring tension on it, I don't believe it. So, okay, at 0, I have 3 open switches. The top 2 are closed until we get to 9, which then the bottom one closes. I need to grease that cam a teeny bit. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do all these score reels. Obviously, I'll do them off camera, but maybe this game, you know, there are things that you need to start doing because games get to a certain age. And Gottlieb games are notorious for needing their score reels done. Maybe a 60s Williams games are getting to that age now where we need to start doing that kind of stuff. So, anywho, I'm going to take this back apart really quick. What time is it?
It's 4:30.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to keep working a little bit.
Old School EMs has super bands on their far out.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, you're a better person to ask then. How does it play compared to what you may be used to with standard rubber? What I'm going to do is I will probably put just the teeniest bit of grease on the circuit board, and then I'm going to put the teeniest bit of grease on the cam where it needs to rise over and make that dramatic jump where 9 is, right? Look at the shape of the cam. So I don't know where that would be actually. How does it ride? So if this is being displayed, the cam's on top. Yeah, so you see how it's kind of like a uniform shape? What camera are we on? This one?
Oh, go back to, no,
okay.
Don't do that one. Go back to B.
You see how we've got like a really uniform shape of this cam until we get to right here where it starts to really ramp up? That's 9, and that's where that cam changes position to make the switches jump into a different spot. To open that rollover switch, I'm just going to add a little bit of grease here, just in this one spot, and that will hopefully take a bit of the tension, or friction away from this guy as it rides the cam. And I did put the right spring in there, right? That is the blue spring on top.
Always take pictures when you're disassembling.
These ones, well, wait, hold on. These ones have the blue spring on the bottom. That's the other problem too, though, is sometimes people will get into these things and mess with them before you're there. So just because it is one way doesn't mean that is the way it's supposed to be. And what I just realized here, I think someone swapped the springs. The blue spring is a little bit higher tension, I think. And when this thing wasn't stepping because it was dirty, someone put the higher tension spring on top. And I'm going to reverse that now. But I'm going to get another score reel to do that. Thankfully, I have extras in this back room over here. The red spring was the one that was supposed to be on top here, but this one got mangled, right? So we definitely can't reuse this guy. I'm going to throw this one in the garbage right now. Goodbye. All right, I'll be right back. We can start asking, maybe if people have more questions that aren't involving rants.
I feel bad ranting. Score reels. Dr. Grumpy was right. What are we gonna do? So we are coming up to the last 30 minutes of the show, which is usually when we do our Q&A with Kyle. He'll probably still be working on these score rules, but if you have any questions, particular about your pinball machine, something you're stuck on, feel free to place it in the chat and we'll talk about it.
Maybe we should do one where people ask Steve questions about pinball.
Yeah, we'll put Midge in front of the camera and ask about pinball. CNK, I hope you're not driving. Why do you keep using speech to text? Can we get one more rant from Kyle? Yeah, Obi, I hope you're writing down all these great bumper sticker slogans Kyle's been putting out today.
What did I do?
Dear Kyle, why don't you like rants? Kyle loves rants. That's probably his favorite thing.
What do I love?
Oh, good.
I really like Kiffle from...
He likes Kiffle.
Heck yeah.
Kiffle's amazing.
From the Allentown
Kiffle.
Farmers
We all bought
Market?
about 50 Kiffles each for Allentown.
At 100.
Wow. Wait. What
Well,
happened
you got
to the other
100.
two?
I asked for 10 of each. Even the pricing on the thing said 98, but I told that guy
Oh, he
just...
gave me 2 for
Maybe. He ended up giving me one for free because I was like, what's the walnut one taste like? And he's like, here, just have it. He's probably sick of me because...
Kyle.
we ordered too
Mr.
many.
Baxter asked, is there something in Discord?
What? What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Everything's in Discord.
The Pirates of the Caribbean, my ship stopped working. It just grinds.
Uh-oh.
What do I do? I added the
Yeah.
what do I do part.
Oh, sounds like you got to sell it to me. I'll
Stern.
gladly take it off your hand. No, if it's grinding, it sounds like a motor problem. The reason it sounds like a motor problem is because it's trying to do something.
How does he get to the mechanical part?
On that game, first you take like a bottle of whiskey, you drown. That is a huge pain in the butt.
Is it?
That game is not meant to be worked on. It's awful.
What? So what do you do?
Take your time and slowly take it apart.
Take lots of pictures.
So it's trying to do something, right? The motor is trying to spin. It is trying to do its job. And what that tells me is that I would assume that the electronics are okay. And if it's just grinding, what might have happened is something inside the motor has burnt out. Or I'm sorry, not burnt out, but rather it's, lost a gear, or lost a tooth on something. Yeah, so I would start there. I'd give that a shot. Try to get it out. You're either going to find the problem while you're taking it apart, or you're going to get it apart and realize that the motor's bad, and you had best replace it.
Do we sell replacement motors for that game?
We do. I just trained my new coworker Sarah how to build the harnesses for that motor.
She's awesome.
She rules.
Are you finding that link?
It is not a cheap motor.
We're going to drop a link to the replacement motor. So if you do keep struggling, maybe you can just pick it up from us and use a free shipping code. So I stopped at the whiskey part. Fair enough.
Come on.
Everyone wants to see Midge step. Look, and if you get it today, you can get $10 off.
I'm going to step off
You
camera
gotta be like this.
and get a beer. That's about as much stepping as you'll see me do.
There you go, Moto's got it.
You really want to see Emoto do it. She's got like grace and skills. I'm just...
Right after she
Well, it's because I played a lot of
Yes.
DDR so growing up, so I know
Oh.
all about stepping.
Yeah,
That's
for
all you
sure. DDR, man.
Super fast. Supernova.
Why does no arcade in Columbia have DDR?
I think transmission would be a great place to have.
Right? Yeah, hey, if anyone wants to, I know that there's probably someone really cool in Atlanta listening right now, watching right now. I got a good spot to put a DDR.
I don't care what version it is. We just want it.
Yeah, but preferably third or fourth or fifth mix. And the tags itching me.
It's a little slow on the 9. I'm gonna
Lazily just pop a teeny bit more grease on it and hope it works itself out. And if not, I will find the correct spring at some point, because I think that might still be what's holding me back, but I'm not too worried about it because these score reels are such a joy to work on. But I tell you what, the single player Gottlieb game that I just bought, I won't be in such a good mood while we're working on that. We'll be grumpy and swearing and, oh, we're that really unique washer that's super thin and you can't replace with anything else anywhere, fly off to. That's exactly what I'm.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a little slow, but I'm okay with it. Now
Yeah,
it's not
old
working.
school EM says, this is why I take my reel loose to see the alignment better.
The what? What? Who?
The reel loose.
The reel loose? I think I mangled that bottom switch pretty good.
Yeah, Kyle should have bought home use only. Huo. I got that Huo for you.
I don't understand what's going on. You guys are saying words and
Whoa!
Huo. It's got Huo.
I'm gonna grease the bottom side of that thing too, just a teeny bit, and then I'm gonna get my switch adjuster and straighten this switch out, and we'll probably end up being okay. Honestly, the stepper, like score reels and stuff like that, on this sort of a project, I would not be messing with these things until I could get the game working and like trying to reset, etc. Since the playfield is out indefinitely, I won't have time to do that. So for a hot minute, but
It looks nicer. I mean, it looks like smoother or faster, maybe.
it's definitely getting back to 0 faster. The 9 is a little bit of a climb, but it's all right. Okay, at this point, every single
Yay.
stepper in this game has been serviced, except for these 3 remaining score reels. So most of the work is done. That is, unless we've got like a crazy logic problem somewhere. And that also being said, I still have carpentry and staining and stuff to do. So actually, I've got a lot of work ahead of me, but I like weird, stupid pinball, and this is a weird, stupid game, and I am excited to finish it. So
I know. We don't appreciate that.
I self-deprecate on these things because
Yeah, but you're deprecating for the pinball.
Yeah.
I deprecate
You
the
can
games
be stupid, but the game can't be stupid.
because everyone just wants Tales of the Arabian Nights and Theater of Magic and Adam's Family. Everyone forgets about Forefathers. I don't think they're stupid. I love them. I love them very much.
They love you too.
This. Because that's the kind of flexing I want to do. Big Bang Bar is actually really fun. I always really like playing TJs when we are at California Extreme every year. Big Bang Bar isn't even that good of a game. It's not even done.
Tube dancers already.
Yeah, the tube dancer is pretty cool.
Oh, I'll just do this.
Let me see if I can push this poor thing back. This is a very similar game to what we're working on now. So we can, eventually once I get the EM cycle out of me and we switch to something else, this would be a fun game to get working because it's very uncommon. But yeah, no one wants to ask me any questions because I've just alienated half of our audience by saying home use only is dumb and I like EMs more than I like Big Bang.
Yeah,
Bar.
our
So
viewership dropped a
That's
lot
fine.
from that.
I'm gonna stick to my real guns. I'm not gonna fake anything for nobody.
Bye, Jim. Thanks for joining us. It was so great to meet you in person at Allentown. It was a pleasure.
It was really fun
Have a nice
meeting all
dinner.
sorts of people in person in Allentown, man.
It was.
It's neat that it's just still mind-blowing that people spend 2 hours of their week at any point watching me talk about pinball. I can't tell you how humbling that is. So
Yeah, Kevin,
I hope I've
always
taught
be
you
learning.
something.
So, we got about 15 more minutes if anyone wants to ask Kyle any personal questions or pinball questions. Now is the time to do it.
Ask me anything.
And also, I will ask a question. What are we doing next week on PinTech Live?
Oh, God.
It's my favorite
I don't know,
question.
man.
I get the same answer every week.
Um,
Schematics class?
I mean, if David has time and he wants to do that, then yeah, we could bust out my Jack-in-the-Box and we could try to solve the issue it's having. If you're up for that, let's talk about it, David. Keep on the EM train.
More EM would
I
be
need to
good.
put strikes and spares, finish putting that back together, but that's not a PinTech episode. That's like just finish it,
Yeah,
and
that
then
just means
we
you
will
need to
stream
finish
it at some point. I got a new glass for it. It just needs to back together. I need to finish putting Jungle Lord together. I got the new upgraded flipper return guides.
Oh, everyone wants to, I say everyone. Everyone wants to see a playfield swap with your dolly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not going to do that 2 hours at a time. That is not possible. You have to do big chunks of work on a playfield swap or you will forget what you're doing. Dolly's a really simple game, and I would like to live stream some of it. Emoto and I talked about
Maybe
it.
David will do schematics next week.
Yeah, let's do that.
Who's the rocker? Oh, Cliff Albert.
Yeah.
Cliff Albert's Warlock Pinball 777 on Twitch. He's a new pinball enthusiast with lots of passion.
He's
for
great.
this sport. Oh, I have an announcement. Speaking of sports,
Oh yeah.
pinball is going to be on ESPN tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern.
What?
Yeah, and it's all her.
Pinball's
It's
a
single-handedly. It was all
No.
Emoto.
No, we had an awesome team working with Stern. Our Stern Heads Up Pinball Invitational featuring Avengers Infinity Quest show is going to be on ESPN2, The Ocho, right before the Corgi races.
Haha.
So it was a very exciting moment in history to have pinball on ESPN, working with the awesome Jody Dankberg. He is a wizard. And of course, Jack Danger and Tim Sexton, who did great hosting. And we all shot at the Dead Flip studio and then had a lot of help from the Sharp brothers. We all came together and made it happen.
When
So
you
we're
did that
excited.
3-4 months ago?
That one was earlier this year.
Yeah.
So the actual programming that you all saw back in, when did we air it? February, maybe? It
Oh,
was
geez.
sometime during the Twippies because I was editing that and the Twippies
Oh,
at
yeah.
the same time.
I remember that.
I was gonna die, but I survived. And that was about an hour-long programming. For the ESPN one, we had to trim it down into a 30-minute block, so it runs a lot faster. It's very fast-paced. Has some fun recaps in it, but it'll be good. Oh, wow. Dr. Grumpy has his DVR set to record if the keyword is pinball. I want to do that.
Oh, neat.
I bet you get a lot of cool stuff in there.
Or a lot of
Mullet
people thinking
Nationals,
ping pong is
Rotor
pinball.
Tiller Nationals. Mullet like the hair or mullet like the fish? Well, because in Gulf Shores where I live, we have mullet tossing competitions where you pick a fish and a mullet fish. You throw it and see how far it goes. It's about hair.
People are so weird. I mean, I guess we're weird because we like this weird ball rolling around on wood. But I mean, you think about that. What?
Extreme.
Oh heck yeah, that's cool as heck. I'm just thinking about like those Scottish games, right? Where like people pick up like entire effing tree trunks and like throw them.
Oh, hey, Carrie Hardy.
Yeah,
Just scrolled
corgi
up
race.
and
That's
saw
cool
you.
as heck. They're little teeny weasel dogs and they run real fast. That's not cool. That's not.
Air guitar?
Nah.
You know, for all these things that
No.
are on ESPN2, it's about dang time we got pinball on there, y'all, because
Okay. I think air guitar would be fine. I think there needs to be a copious amount of alcohol, though. Air drumming is...
Hair drumming.
Air drumming takes a little more skill.
You can't see my foot hitting my double bass, but I'm double bassing it.
Oh, you're so good, Emoto.
Yeah.
I like
I'm Mike Portnoy.
I like the people that make the dogs jump really far. The dogs like run,
That is
and then they jump.
Yeah.
Man, that's
Aussies
pretty
are
cool.
really good at that.
That's a really cool sport. But fish throwing?
Fish throwing.
Yeah, that's cool. Whatever. I'm not gonna knock anyone's
you go to
thing.
the market and
Yeah,
Olympics do need to add pinball.
It's
that would be
different.
great.
but it's the same.
Anyone have a line on a good Jungle Lord backlash?
No, everyone needs one.
Yeah. And then also, what about a pit stop backlash? We got any laying around?
No.
ooh, man, yeah, that's gonna be.
I actually have a line.
Oh no! Drink line just got a TMNT Pro delivered and it doesn't work.
That's depressing.
Was it home use only?
Is it okay if it's new out of the box? If it's new out of the box, make sure all of the wires are plugged from the little power supply on the bottom right-hand corner of the stern back box. I'm going to do it related to me. Bottom right-hand corner, you got the power supply. There's a board with a bunch of capacitors and plugs. Make sure all of those are plugged in. Unplug them and replug them in. Make sure that the computer, everything is plugged into the computer. There's one power connection, I think, on the top left of the computer. Make sure that that's nice and solid. I mean, even if it isn't new, right, you still have to fold the head down to get it places most of the time, and those can get tugged out. Make sure unclick and re-click the SD card in the top right-hand side of the computer. Make sure that's seated well. Make sure that the wires are connected to the interlock switch, the big white switch on the inside of the coin door. That shouldn't keep the game from booting up, but those are the things I'd look at before contacting Stern.
Great tips, Kyle. That's awesome.
Yeah, I used to sell those things for a living. I know what they do. And then email service@sternpinball.com, and the amazing people there will take care of you.
I would love for us to do schematics class next week. I think that
Yes,
would
do
be
it.
a really great thing, because also looking at the calendar, the following Thursday, we will be at Southern Fried Gaming
gosh.
Expo in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh,
So just like we
Too
did
much.
last week during PinTech time, that is our setup time for our booth, and we're going to be bringing quite a lot of Stern games and other type of stuff. We're setting up our truss and everything, so it's going to be a busy day for Kyle and I and everyone else. Midge.
it's going to be a busy day.
So we'll do live at the show. I'll just have a camera set up where we can kind of walk in and talk to everyone. Last time at Allentown, I sent Kyle away to go show everyone the show while we built, but our booth for this is a lot bigger, so he's got to stay.
Oh, come on. I was hoping you would say we're going to be really busy, so we're going to give Kyle a phone to go walk away. See
No,
ya.
you gotta be rigging some truss, boy.
Nah,
Sweating, buddy.
nah.
Sweating.
Yeah.
No, I sweat last time.
Your
You get to
hands
sweat
better
this.
be really dirty.
The
of the
yeah,
day.
last time we streamed,
And
that was
then
funny
hot
because
tub
the
meetings
camera was
afterwards.
stuck on forward or backwards
Next Thursday
facing.
will be awesome, David. That's so great. I'm so excited. So we'll catch up with you and talk about how we'll do that with Zoom and everything, and we'll make sure Kyle's prepared with schematics. in
Oh, I've got
hand.
schematics for that game. I've owned that game long enough. I make sure I have all that stuff.
So it's looking at schematics specifically for what game?
Well, what we're going to do, the way I want to phrase it, instead of just looking at schematics, is we're going to find the problem,
Wow,
show
that's
the
a great
problem
phrase.
on the
Very
game,
good.
and then find that problem on the schematic. David's going to help us figure out where everything related is, and then we will correct the problem. And then with whatever time we have left over, I'll let David go off, because David does seminars on how to read schematics. It's wonderful. But
Yeah.
I'd like to try to focus it so we can do a cause and a response to the problem. I had a lot of problems with schematics and EMs because I never needed to use a schematic to fix a problem, right? I would always feel like, oh, well, I know the problem might be here, so we'll wiggle it. But I really want to find, and I'll learn a lot too in this class, because David is going to be
really eloquent at showing us where the problem is and what's going on and what we need to do to try to fix it.
Should we get a digital version of that schematics too that I can?
I
like,
will give
scroll
David
through?
a digital version for sure. Because I was like, what they do on the EM clinic, right, is they use those digital versions and then highlight and point off. So if maybe that's what we need to figure out. Unless you want to listen to David and you can find it on the schematic, whatever might work better.
I'm sure it would be faster. He can screen share, but we don't have to talk about this right now. We're already like in our production meeting.
What?
Oh, yeah.
For what?
Oh, like a breakdown of
we
how
cannot
to?
we cannot distribute the schematic because they are copywritten.
No, like a syllabus. Right?
Syllabus?
Is that what you're talking about? Like tips on how to read a schematic?
I mean, well, here's what I will recommend is I think you should look up see if you can find the talks that David has given. I'm sure someone's recorded it at California Extreme or the Pacific Pinball Expo or the Golden State Pinball Festival or Pinagogo. I'm sure someone's recorded it at one point. So if you want to look one of those up, that would be great. But I mean, we'll see what we can come up with.
Macy with Galaxy Crown, thank you so much. We appreciate.
What happened?
They said I like your all setup and layout on your stream. Just wanted to compliment. We appreciate the compliment.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate
Opie said
and receive
something
the
about
compliment.
sabotaging you, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
I mean, I appreciate some sabotage every once in a while, but tell me what, I don't need anything to make work any harder. I've got a lot of work in front of me. This is why I should not have bought more pinball games.
Along with. We'll have it on the screen, the schematics, so everyone watching will be able to follow.
Yeah. No, we'll have that up, and that'll be easy to read. We'll probably spend less time looking at me and more time looking at the schematic, which will be really nice.
Rampomatic said, I hope right to repair lifts the copyright on schematics.
Huh. I didn't really think about that. I hope so too. But, you know, the Europeans will have all that right to repair stuff for a decade before we do anything with it.
Awesome.
Fix my iPhone. Actually, I don't
Molly
have an
Hatchet's
iPhone.
here. Oh,
Who did?
Molly Hatchet, thank you.
Wow, thank you. That's heartwarming. We appreciate your dedication.
Oh,
to
that's
our
so
dedication.
awesome. You're going to get a donation of $20, Kyle, so you can buy beer for everybody.
Oh boy. Steve, I know
You'll
what
just
we're
have
doing.
to hand it to him in person at Southern Fried Gaming Expo,
Okay, I'll be there.
Atlanta, Georgia. 2 weekends from now.
Dude, it's so close.
I know,
What the
don't
heck?
remind me.
I did too.
I wish it was further away. It's not. It's right around the
So, I
corner.
mean, if you want to just stay at my house for 2 more weeks, Emoto, you can just stay. Not go back and see your family or anything.
I know, it would be Marco Pinball's dream. No, I gotta go, man.
No,
Getting itchy.
she's just
Gotta get on the
she's
road.
just my roommate. It's cool. It is now.
Grumpy EM Doctor posted an awesome link. It's not a beginner session, but it is showing how to read schematics from their Lodi.
Yeah,
session.
that was a good.
Ooh, that's a fun.
I think I
interesting.
sat in on both of his talks, or at least for a portion of them at Lodi. I'll tell you what. I mean, schematics were always really nerve-wracking and scary for me to look at, but when someone teaches you like the basics, it gives you enough ammunition to like get yourself in trouble. And it starts to make more sense when they become simplified a little bit. But really, it is repetition that gets you the confidence to go into an EM and figure it out. I mean, I think I used my schematic twice when I was fixing my Grand Prix. And that's not like a weird flex. It's just like a lot of stuff you can figure out when you know the way that a lot of this stuff kind of works together. And you can go in there and be like, oh, okay, this does this and that does this. And you look at the schematic, yep, I'm right. And then you go in and you finish it. So don't be scared of your schematics. They're your friends. They're just complicated.
Awesome. And then another great link from Northwest Pinball. Kyle, did you try any other beers in Allentown? I'm assuming.
In Allentown,
Brian O'Neill brought me some very good Northeastern beers. I do not remember the names of any of the breweries except for the Human Robot. I think they are in they're in the Northeast somewhere, but they make really traditional German lagers and pilsners, etc. So, you know, right up my alley. He brought me a barley wine that I really liked. I generally dislike barley wines, but I think that's because, like, maybe the last time I had a barley wine, like 10 years ago, they were like really sweet and like, I don't know, they're kind of gross, but this was good. I didn't have any other beer. I had Yingling. When in Rome, do as the Romans do and drink Yingling. But I'm working on getting a care package to send to Colin Baxter of South Carolina beers.
Yeah, you'll get it next year, Colin.
Yeah, we're going to. Want to do it this week?
He doesn't know about rocks.
No business terms.
Do you know about rocks? He doesn't know about rocks.
Through osmosis, unfortunately, I do understand what rock means in that context. But yeah, let's do it. We got to do. Maybe we should also include just some other southeastern staples like Terrapins, a beer, and like a High Lie. Or some Freak, yeah. Yeah, no, and then I want to send you a can of like my Beer Keller beer. We'll send you one too, man. We'll get you back. I might have Steve come over tomorrow or one day this weekend so we can enjoy. I saved one sample of everything you sent me so Steve can have one.
If you really want to give Kyle money, join our Discord group and then you can talk to him about it.
Who wants to give me money? Why would anyone want to give me money? I'm the least responsible person with money. I'll just go buy more stupid pinball machines.
Man. You're going to have to start a Patreon soon.
I mean, I'm still thinking the Pinball Repair OnlyFans. I'm just going to follow Jessica's lead and
I just posted the link to the Discord group that you can join. That's our Marco Pinball Discord group. We have After Hours and a bunch of other channels where people talk about pinball and other stuff.
And all sorts of stuff. It's really fun, and it would be fun if everyone wants to join. I enjoy the conversation I have with all of you. Not here, because I don't actually get to talk to y'all. I just respond to what Emoto tells me.
Yeah, come on over. If you're on YouTube, come on over to Twitch. There's a lot of fun interactivity on Twitch.
Yeah.
And if you want to give money for Kyle to buy beer for everyone, you can use that. Give him some bits.
The bits? Oh, man. Hey, so I need everyone to really keep on me so I'll stream my new Jungle Princess next week. I have to fix a couple lights. Just make sure that it's working really perfectly, but I do want to stream it quite badly. I don't think there's enough people that stream EM pinball, so we'll have to get that thing on. So continue bugging me. I might even take home that camera and stand tonight. I might actually take everything home, just in case we want to do it. As long as you bring it back. Bring it back? Why would I bring it back? Then we can just stream from my living room. Thanks for putting up with that stream a couple weeks ago also. That was funny. What else is going on?
Well, it's 5:03.
Oh, wow.
And there's like nobody on Twitch to raid.
That's terrible.
There is someone playing Adam's Family virtual pinball. Should we all raid them and have them
give Manu 5 minutes. Let's give him like 5 minutes because he always
I know. Where is he at?
Manu, where are you?
At?
Where are you?
Rudy Soup was on earlier, and I was queuing him up, but...
Oh, cool.
Oh, right, but not on the pinball channel?
Does anyone else here play PC games? I put out like a desperate call for other people to talk about Formula One with, and no one watches Formula One. So I know Emoto and we used to play Deep Rock Galactic.
I want to play Deep Rock tonight.
I'll play with you. Dominic actually was maybe going to come over and have a beer after work so we could convince him to play Deep Rock.
Can you text him right now and tell him to
really?
bring his computer?
Oh, thank goodness. Let's talk some F1. How dumb. Yeah, man. That race last weekend was just dumb. What the heck? That was insane. And then the fact that they took the P2 away from Sebastian Vettel was just
it's easier to move
dumb. Straight dumb. Like, it makes me so mad. It was hilarious. And that's great because it reminded me that Lewis Hamilton can actually race. For a long time, it's like if Lewis Hamilton isn't in front, he can't win. And that race was pretty amazing because he did go from basically last to an undeserved second, but that was pretty good. But that makes me sad. Red Bull's just been getting boned, and I've been a Red Bull fan for a long time. But yeah, crazy. But now I'm sad because there was so much high drama, and now we have to wait through summer break. But whatever. We'll see what happens. What else? But yeah, PC games. We should all play Deep Rock Galactic. Everyone should get a PC.
Yeah, come play video games with me.
Come play video games with us. I've been playing a lot of a game called RimWorld recently. I'm a huge PC gamer. I'm a giant nerd.
I've been playing Ni no Kuni.
That's
It's
the
like
one
Pokemon,
that's on the Switch?
Studio Ghibli Pokemon.
Yeah.
I mean.
We were playing, Emoto likes to bring her.
Oh yeah, I have to battle Jordan in mini golf. We're all in a walkabout mini golf league. If you are on VR, join our mini golf league. I feel like 90% pinball people. It started during the pandemic, and it was kind of our outlet to stay connected, and we're still playing. Brian Dye hosts this awesome league, and it's great. Brian O'Neill's in it as well.
I want to play. I got it. We'll do a VR headset soon. I think my wife has been converted. Emoto let her play Job Simulator, and like she loved it. So now, just got to keep bringing up, hey, we should buy an Oculus.
I'm doing terrible in the league. I have to make up like 3 weeks.
Didn't you win yesterday though?
No, I got third. I tied in third.
Oh.
So what does that mean? I get half a point? I'm not sure how it works. Not
That's
looking
better
good
than
for me, though.
no points, I guess.
Keith Elwin is in the league. Carl D'Angelo is in the league. Scott Denisi was in last season. I think he's too busy right now to join this season. A lot of people play in this league. It's pretty awesome. Half a point.
Gonna have to do it.
I'll take my half a point. I worked hard for it.
Can Steve do it on PlayStation VR?
No, I have to.
That is pretty crap.
Oh, you just don't get to play with us.
Exactly.
I mean, I'd die on the Facebook hill. I mean, Facebook is dumb, but it's a necessary evil. If it wasn't for Facebook, I never would have seen the photo of Todd Tuckey poking my eyes out. So I am glad that I was on Facebook that day.
Says.
That was pretty awesome. Is no one still streaming pinball? This is insane.
It's play.
Yeah, Carl is amazing at everything he does. What
But
a
maybe you
long
can't
day
join
of
them.
meetings. Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf. How about you go ahead and start streaming on Twitch, and then we'll come on over and raid you.
Yeah, I think that's
We are sorry you missed today, too.
I think that's the best solution. Man, I want to finish this. I just am dreading doing the woodwork. But I need to go to the hardware store tomorrow. I will get some stain and some varnish, and I will get ready to do this. I just am dreading doing it.
So you should not take the cameras home. You should come back here, finish that, turn the cameras on, and do a weekend stream here since it's already set up, and then you'll have people like Mr. Baxter to keep you company, Mr. Loaf. They'll help motivate you to finish it and
Actually,
get
no,
that
I
back
definitely
in the
can't do
hotline
that
and
because
on
I
to the
have a
next
service
project.
call on Saturday. So I actually have to go fix someone else's pinball
Always
game on
has
Saturday.
Excuses.
And then the last thing I'm going to want to do on
Wild
Sunday
man, good to see you.
is touch pinball. So that probably won't happen
It's
this
a
week.
necessary evil. Yeah, we wrote down so many Kyle quotes today for future bumper stickers
Oh, God.
and for your campaign for president.
No. Oh, God.
I vote for you, man.
I'll become the president of jaded, grumpy pinball people. So if we want to start our own country, how do you do that? You just go find an island and we put a flag on it? That's what they used to do in the back in the
No, Midge did not get his smoked meats yet. Kyle is holding them hostage because that's the type of president he is.
Yeah, I hold
And he
things
still
over people's
gets Midge's
heads.
vote. This is crazy.
It's working.
Grumpstonia is the name of his country.
I'll make sure that you get your Landjäger. The thing is, they're aging right now. They're aging perfectly in my pantry.
All right, y'all. Everyone on Twitch, let's make an executive decision. Do we want to go and raid Adam's Family Pinball, which is virtual pinball, or do we want to go raid Laser Los, who is playing Camellia 2?
What is it?
Some sort of side scroller.
Wait, put it on. I want to judge, because I mean, that sounds pretty cool, but it might also be really bad because it's 8-bit.
He just left the frame. This guy.
I want to see. I'm going to...
He's so cool. I love his bopping cat.
I'm going to say...
Virtual pin.
I'm going to say we need to raid
loud.
Laser Los. It's not pinball related, but I like what I'm seeing. I have no idea what's going on, but I am also not a dictator. I'm a president, so I don't have final say in this.
Fair enough. Well, you convinced me. Let's go hang out with Laser Los because he does do a lot for pinball community and live streaming. So we're just gonna go hang out with him for a while. That's where we would all go anyway, right? So. Yeah, he does have pinball in the background.
That's right. So it's like half pinball, half not pinball.
Laser.
Really?
Cuphead?
But that's a super difficult side scroller.
It's not a secret. He definitely ate all your sausage. That's why he keeps stalling. All right, everybody, thank you so much for the awesome show. We learned a lot about William's score rules, how to disassemble and assemble them. Remember to always take pictures if you're disassembling something so you remember where and which way it goes. And next week, get ready for an awesome basic schematics class for EMs. That's going to be really awesome. We're going to have Grumpy EM Doctor with us, and it'll be a great class. So we'll see you all next week. If you're on Twitch, stick around so we can all go scream at the top of our lungs watching Laser Los play some games.
Bye.
Goodbye. Where's my splashy? Splish splash.